Good morning, it's day 34. Day 32 and 33 were both 0 days here in Hot Springs. And today is actually going to be a short day, 6 miles. And then I'm coming back to the hostel I stayed at and meeting my friends Debbie and Marshall, who are driving down from Asheville for dinner. Started out to Springs, which is down over there. Ended up coming up, hiking the French Broad River Valley, up the river that way, and then started climbing. So we have quite a bit of climbing today. It's only a 6-mile day on trail, and then I've got a 3-mile road walk back into town, and hope to be back by 1 o'clock. Here's a nice view of the little town of Hot Springs, North Carolina. If I zoom in, that building right there in the center is actually the Laughing Heart Lodge, and just to the left of it there's a smaller building that's the Laughing Heart Hostel where I stayed last night. I'm about 5.5 miles in today of my 6.2, almost 5.5, not quite, and a dam and a beautiful pond that's created by the dam and a bench. So I thought this was a nice place to stop for lunch and sit here and next to the pond. So I thought I'd share this nice scene with you. Hi there, it's the end of day 34. Today I went out and did a 6.2 mile hike that I shared with you earlier today. Then my friends Debbie and Marshall came in from Asheville and we went out to lunch. And after lunch they gave me my food package that I had ordered from Walmart, as well as some mail. I got a nice postcard from Marty, thank you Marty, and a postcard from Wendy, thank you Wendy. And my wife sent me some stuff in the mail, so it was nice to get mail. So I went through all my mail, went through all my food, packaged it into easier packaging rather than the boxes and stuff comes in, and packed my bag. So the plan is tomorrow morning I will get up, pack all my stuff, and about 9:30 I will head down to the church that is downtown and go downtown and attend church service. And then I'm hoping after church service that someone from the church will be nice enough to give me a car ride about 4 miles to the trailhead that I stopped at today. And I have about a 5-mile hike to the next shelter where I will stay tomorrow night. That's the plan, and I will let you know tomorrow how that turns out. Good morning, it's day 35. I'm standing outside of the Orland Memorial Presbyterian Church waiting for service to start. My plan today is to attend service, then get a ride up to the trailhead, and from the trailhead I will head out. I've got about a 5.5 mile hike today before I get to my shelter for the night. So a short hike today, and then I'll give you more information on the trail. So I started the day by going to the church, and then 4 gentlemen who were visiting Hot Springs gave me a ride to the trailhead. So that was about 2.5 miles ago. I started out at the trailhead. I'm now at the fire tower, the Rich Mountain Fire Tower. Thought I'd give you a look around. It's a nice one, you can actually get inside. I know that was a little jerky, sorry about that. I just wanted to give you a view all the way around Fire Tower. Very pretty out there today with the sun. To give you an idea what that fire tower looks like, it's a very nice fire tower. I've never seen a fire tower that actually had wires on the railings just to make sure that nobody fell through. Normally they're pretty wide open. You walk up. This one obviously gets lots of guests. They've more child-proofed it, I think. But so I did a 2.5 mile hike, and then this was a 1.15 miles off the trail, so about a 3 mile round trip. Of course, it was up to get to this. I gotta go back down to get to the Appalachian Trail, and I think I have about a 3 mile hike to my shelter for the night. Hey guys, I mentioned to somebody the other day that I was staying at a hostel, and they was wondering what that was, and basically I told them it's a bunkhouse. Think of a room with 3 or 4 bunk beds, and you share it with other people, and there may be a bathroom. There's a bathroom down the hall that you can use. There's normally laundry facilities. And he then asked me where I would stay on the trail. So I thought I'd make a quick video and share that. I'm at the Spring Mountain Shelter. This is the Spring Mountain Shelter. I've shown you some of these before. As you can see in there, I already have my bedding set up. But the person asked me what things might amenities would be at the shelter. So I thought I'd share those. One of the first amenities you might find is a bear cable. Basically, this is so that you can store your food so that the bears don't get it. And let me see if I can do this. It's clipped to the tree. So basically you unclip it. And then you pull down on the cable until you get the hooks. These hooks, your food bag goes on, so I'm not going to be able to do this with one hand, so let me see. So basically, I hook that on my food bag like so. Sorry for being jerking around, but that's the best I can do. Trying to hold this. Then you hoist your food bag back up, and then while your food bag's up there, you hook the hook back on the thing. So then your food bag is stored in the air, so you don't have to worry about bears. Hopefully that turned out. I know it was awfully jerky. Next amenity you normally find at a shelter is water. It may not be close. For example, those steps go all the way up, and then around to the left to the shelter. It's probably a 1/10 of a mile or so up to the shelter. But I'm going to collect some water here, so I have some water for the evening. I didn't try to film it while I was filling it, but I held my 3-liter water bottle underneath of the pipe, let it fill up, and so now I have almost 3 liters of water. That will do for my dinner, and also for drinking, and I'll probably have some for tomorrow morning. Once you get your water you need to purify it. There's two ways of doing that. One is with a filter, and the other is with chemicals. Both of them are supposed to, chemicals are supposed to kill anything that's in it, and the filter filters out anything that's in it. I actually use both because I definitely don't want to get sick out here. So the chemicals, you put 7 drops of part A and 7 drops of part B for each liter of water. So I have to do 21 drops. You wait 5 minutes, and then you pour it in the water, and then it has to, you shake up the water, and it has to sit for at least 30 minutes before it's good to drink. I will then also run it through the filter just to verify that there isn't anything floating in there or anything that needs to be filtered out. The last amenity, here's the shelter. You can see way down there. We'll go there in a minute, but that is the privy. So the privy is literally a box, and it looks small. It is small. This one actually has a door. Sometimes they don't have a door, and they have a toilet. This one has a little basket with leaves in it. After you use the facilities, you throw some leaves in it to help the decomposition. As you can see, the floor doesn't go all the way down, or the walls don't go all the way down. It's just enough to cover you while you're sitting in there, and it's not some place that you want to hang around for a long time. For those of us that are over 45, think about the old bathrooms that used to be on the highway that were only pit toilets. This is kind of the same thing, but in the wilderness. I forgot to mention this privy, in the last probably 4 or 5 shelters I stayed at, had privies about this size. When I was in the Great Smoky Mountain National Park, the privies were actually very large, enough room for a wheelchair to turn around, and all handicap grab bars, as well as a ramp to get into it. Now, I don't know how you'd ever get a wheelchair down the Appalachian Trail to end up at a shelter that had a privy, but in the national park, the privies have a ramp big enough for a wheelchair inside, and handicapped accessible bars all the way around the room. One last amenity you might find at a shelter are campsites. Don't see any at this shelter, but oftentimes they also have overflow camping in case the shelter's full. So this concludes my amenities of the shelters, and I'm going to go ahead and finish my water, make dinner, and call it an early night. Talk to you guys later. Bye. Good morning. It is day 36. I am 5.5 miles into my hike. I started about 7 o'clock this morning, and I came across this sign. It says, "Welcome hikers, trail magic, homemade cookies, fresh water, trash can," and it's a Southern cookie lady. Well, I followed the driveway down to the little house little cottage down there, and this wonderful couple had fresh made chocolate chip cookies and water and a place to throw trash. It was a nice couple minute stop, and I appreciate them for their hospitality. Hey there. I finished my 7 or 8 mile hike by noon. I figured that was a little early, and so I decided to go to the next shelter, which was 7.1 miles, which will give me an 18-mile day, or I'm sorry, a 15-point-something mile day. Thought I had it figured out. I looked at the map. It showed that I had a 1,000-foot elevation change in 0.8 miles from the shelter. Thought, okay, I can do that. That's going to take a while. But then it looks pretty even, a little ups and down after that. So that shouldn't be a problem. This is what I'm finding is that entire section. So it's all rocks and roots, which is better than up. But as you can tell, now I have rocks going up, and it just slows you down, because you have to watch where watch your footing because the rocks do move. I mentioned the roots and rocks. Been hiking for about an hour and still have roots and rocks. And I just got to this formation that I have to manage to get around. So the trail actually goes up and around this rock outcropping. Climbing up the rocks finally paid off with the view for the day. So I'll share this wonderful view. And then to the other side, a lot of flat land way down there, but a lot of the mountains in between here and there. One last view for the day. I've got about 2.5 miles, probably be more views, but with this terrain I'm going to be in late. I'll probably end up using my headlamp anyways. So just wanted to share one last view, and then I'm going to be hiking to camp. Hey guys, stayed at Jerry's cabin shelter last night. I got in here pretty late. It was actually the sun was going down. I had lots of camp chores to do, so I didn't tape last night. Today is day 37. From the sign beside me, you can see I'm at mile marker 301.8. So I hit a milestone yesterday. Didn't even notice coming down the hill that I had passed mile marker 300. So I am 300 miles in. I like to celebrate those 100-mile marks. This is Jerry's cabin. Just thought I'd give you a view this morning. While I'm walking a trail, most of it so far has been in the woods and the mountains, but not all of it. So here we have this morning, about 3/4 of a mile into our trip today, we have a little bit of a, I guess it would be meadow walking. A lot of very briar bushes on the edges, but a nice mowed path to walk on. In case those rocks yesterday wasn't enough adventure, we have rocks again today. That's the way I'm heading. That's actually the way I came. And trust me, it was no picnic going through there. There's down trees and everything, so picking my way, making a little time, but it's okay. Keep going. I did some rock climbing, hoping to get a better view. Not much of one, but I'll share. This section I just climbed up is called Big Butt. Can't imagine why with all those rocks, but thought I'd give you a little bit of a view of on the way down of where I climbed. Yep, it's pretty steep. I'm going to stop here and shut off the camera because I think I'm going to have to back down. Every once in a while you find markers, memorials out here. This is actually a gravesite. Millard F. Hare and his descendants. Millard died in 1836. So, but this is out here. It's off the trail by less than 1/10 of a mile. That I'd come up and share. That every once in a while you find sites like this. This is the second grave site with a headstone that I found out here on the trail. More climbing. This is that same stream but a different waterfall. It's pretty cool coming over the rocks. Just looked at the map. I've got 1,500 feet of climbing in about 2.5 miles. So lots of climbing to finish today. I'm about 3 miles from my shelter. I came across this view. So I thought I'd share. Hope to be at my shelter in about 2 hours. Good morning, day 38. I got up this morning. It was pretty cold. It was a really cold night last night, but I had a good night's sleep. Made my way down to the privy, and this is the sunrise I get from the privy. Interesting place to see a sunrise, but I'll take it. On my hike out from the shelter this morning to Sam's Gap, came across this interesting monument, Moyer's Rest. It is actually from the people who donated the land to the Appalachian Trail, and talks about their faith and that they hope that others find this unique property of prayer. Just a cool monument. Hey guys, as you can tell, I'm not on trail. Day before yesterday I did a 15.9 mile day, and yesterday I did a 15.5 mile day. I a little overdid it in those 2 days. My right leg is telling me that was too much, and so I did a 2.5 mile day down to Sam's Gap this morning. When I got there, Fresh Grounds, who is a trail angel who serves breakfast along the trail. He has a van. He goes and sets up and makes breakfast for hikers that are hiking through. He had breakfast set up there, and while having breakfast, one of the hostel drivers showed up, and I decided that I'm going to take a night off. I only did 2.5 miles today. Next shelter is another 7 or 7.5 miles. I could have made it, but figured better let my leg have a little bit of rest. Besides that, it froze last night. It got down to 29, or in the high 20s. It was darn cold, so I'm deciding I'm sleeping in a cabin tonight. Just wanted to fill you in on what's going on, and I'll post some videos here in a little bit. And be back on the trail tomorrow.